the ruling was that it was a split between Clark and Wanda, 50-50 regarding the money trust. Well, Wanda's gotten her money, now Clark needs to be given his money. But Kephart keeps saying he doesn't want to relitigate, but here he is relitigating instead of upholding the judgment and just paying him. Now he wants to take out fees and just give it to the losing defense attorney. It's a joke.
I don't owe that losing defense attorney one dime. I don't have a contract with him. Who the hell is he to me? He lost the case. And he's not even in the case.
Yeah.
He's representing a dead attorney that died.
I don't even know where this guy came from.
Jesus Christ.
You know? Kephart says all attorneys need to be paid. I guess he means all of the attorneys in the world need to be paid from anyone that has money.
So in this case, you could be a bank robber, for example. You could rob a bank. You get the money from the bank. You get caught. You get yourself a defense attorney, but you don't pay him any money yet. He goes to trial with you, and you lose. You're going to jail. As they take you off to jail, this lawyer raises his hand to Kephart and says, Your Honor, I haven't been paid, and my client's on the way to jail. And Kephart says, oh, that's right. All lawyers need to be paid. Well, the bank attorney is here. We'll just tell the bank attorney that the bank has to pay your lawyer fees. There you go. So the bank will pay your fees. Now, here's the bank that you robbed from, and now Kephart says the bank has to pay the thief's lawyer's fees. It's the same thing.
It's childish. It's ridiculous. It's beyond. It's just pure, solid incompetency. Kephart couldn't run a lemonade stand. He's an ignorant moron.
And then Aaron's here because he's a beneficiary in another trust, not the money trust. He's a beneficiary in what we call a real estate trust. It's a different trust, different owners make up this trust. Okay? My sister and I are part of that trust, but we're just 2 owners out of 6. Okay? So Kephart, in theory, is transferring money from the real estate trust, which part of it's Aaron, to pay the losing defense attorney's fees also. So it's like you go to a street, somebody trips and falls in a home, and they hurt themselves. So they sue the homeowner, right? There's only 2 houses on this street. They sue the homeowner where they tripped and fell. Their winner wins, okay? The owner of the home has to pay for the lawsuit, for the damages, right? Well, they don't have any money. They're broke. The whole house is owed by the bank. So they can't award any fees to pay the lawyers. But this is in Gephart's court again. So he goes, well, how about the house next door? The different owners, but that doesn't matter. We're going to attach the legal fees to that house over there with different owners. That's what he's doing in this case, too. He's attaching legal fees to a completely different trust. This guy is a moron. Should be immediately disbarred from the bench, removed. You can't have judges like this. The devastation that this guy causes is overwhelming. It's just unbelievable. It's beyond belief. I sat in that courtroom today. I couldn't believe it. Absolutely criminal.
Yep, it's a show. It's a real clown show. Circus Olay. I don't know what to. I tell you, it's, there's such a thing called democracy, and if this is what it is, it's a joke. We're only fooling ourselves. If you don't have a legitimate government in legitimate courthouses, and laws don't get upheld, you have nothing. You're a third world. You have absolutely nothing to go off. You're living a lie, a total lie.
They say in this country that negligence is no excuse. When you don't know the law and you do something wrong, you're guilty because negligence is no excuse.
You can't say I didn't know better.
So, but we have laws and we have precedences so that we have an idea of what's legal and what isn't legal, right? So now I file a case to get access to bank records that my sister's hiding, and worse than that, she's submitting to me fraudulent records. She's trying to say, here's the bank records, and it's fraud.
Computer generated.
Yeah, home
Man-made.
computer generated
Right.
records. It's fraud. And,
I don't know where the clock is, but.
well, I'll be on in a second. I'm busy. And anyways, so today in court, Aaron raised a question. How are you taking money from me in my trust to pay my aunt's lawyer because she stole money from another trust? How do you do that? And this despicable Judge Gephardt tells Aaron to look to his right. I'm sitting to his right. I'm the winning plaintiff. I'm the one that filed a suit because I was getting robbed from. I'm the victim. And this despicable judge tells Aaron, that's who you blame because of his actions. What the hell did I do? I'm trying to uphold the law?
I think he was trying to introduce the two of you.
Oh, is that it?
Look at to your right.
Uh-huh. Well, Rolando was there today. He enjoyed the show.
I did enjoy the show, and I enjoy when I was ignored by the court when I asked for ear, whatever you call those.
Ear microphones.
Earphones or whatever.
Headphones. Headphones.
Headphones.
They didn't want you to hear.
So I can hear the whole thing, and they just laugh at me. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised.
Were you looking at the faces of anybody that was sitting behind us there? When Gephardt saying what he was doing?
Yeah.
Did any of those people go, like, what the hell's going on?
I noticed that. And
Yeah.
That was not even your case.
Right.
That was another
Oh,
case.
all different people there.
All different cases.
They were tripping.
And they were.
Yeah.
They were. I forgot to mention that to you. And I'm telling you, some people was even had a little smirk in the face, like, how can this happen? You know.
That's exactly right.
And they was wondering, this is with these people. What about?
Yeah. You better get up and walk out. Jesus Christ. What would happen today is so unconstitutional. It's scary.
It is scary.
It is.
There's no justice in this town. Not with judges like that.
No.
So this is the second judge that I've had in this case. Simple case. Give me the bank records. I'll take it from there. Give me the bank records. I'll go to New Hampshire
But
and I'll
I
get my
tell you,
sister.
here we go again, Clark, and you know, I know you don't agree with me, but the problem is not with the judges. The problem is with the attorneys, with the lawyers, the defense attorneys. They are afraid to talk, and the judges know that, so they go along with everything else because they know that the attorneys are not going to point out where the problem is, where the fault is, where the misrepresentation of the law is. They know, judges know that the attorneys are not going to make them look bad. The attorneys are at fault. It's not attorney at law, it's attorney at fault. That's what it is. And I keep saying that, and people keep telling me that I'm wrong. Attorneys don't know how to argue in court. They don't. They know how to plead. They know how to get
Kiss ass.
Well,
Kiss
when you have a
ass.
judge up there like Gephardt that obviously has a huge hair up his ass over me, he blames me for everything that he now has to do.
because
Yeah.
your lawyer don't say nothing. That's why.
But
But
Before-
even before, yeah,
before
I know.
he was there, this judge was telling people that I'm the
Oh,
antagonist.
he came out the very first time we ever had this guy. Within 5 seconds of coming out, he had a chip on his shoulder.
Yep.
His mind was already made up that he hated Clark.
Yep.
For some reason, he blames Clark for having this at his desk. Clark's the only one that tried to save his ass to never even have this case because he has the cashier's check. So this would stop here because we knew what was going to happen when these guys got the cashier's check, and they were going to steal the money, and that's exactly what they did.
And to this day, they're still trying to steal the
He
money.
needs to point to the person, the real culprit that created this problem, and that's Judge Alan Earl. He's a moron.
And Howard Royman, the defense attorney, that told the judge that his client didn't have two quarters to rub together. So he had no way of getting paid. And Judge Earl said, don't worry about it. We'll just sell that house in New Hampshire. And we got millions of dollars there. So we'll just get that money and you'll get paid. So Royman goes, all right. So Royman submits a bill for $600,000 over a case where my sister had stolen $26,000 from me.
Yeah.
The legal bill from her side is 600,000. You add in my side, you come up with this inflated crap that Earl cost 900,000 in legal bills over a $26,000 theft.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
There's no reason for this.
Yeah.
I never seen anything like that, and I never seen a case that has last 7 years. They have not called the attention of the daily newspaper. They are not even anywhere nearby that courtroom the day that you guys are there. I think they need to bring somebody from the business section or somebody from, not the regular reporter that don't know how to do anything else but to write press releases. No, I'm talking about experts on trust, banking, anything else. You know, I am sure that by being, according to them, the most powerful newspaper in the state, and by being, according to them, the largest newspaper, which I disagree with that, because the largest will be when they are the largest, nobody's larger than them. And Las Vegas Sun is printed inside them, so whatever amount they print, Las Vegas Sun print. So it is not that they are the largest newspaper, you know, but they want to brag like that, that's fine, you know, and the people are stupid enough to believe it, that's fine.
I think there's a very big underlying problem in this case and why it's not widely reported. And that's because when Earl stole the money from New Hampshire, which was illegal, to pay lawyers, he got the money in his hands illegally. And then what he wanted to do, which is contrary to Nevada civil procedures, he demanded that that money be dispersed right away, as soon as possible, within a few days, to all the lawyers. He dispersed over $600,000 of this money immediately. And he did that before he filed the order doing so. That is totally illegal. That's against Nevada procedures. And he did that because he knew I was going to appeal the case. And when he made that order and distributed that money, he reserved $400,000 extra in case I had the balls to appeal the case. Using my money, our trust money, in reserve in case I appeal his illegal decision. There's never been a judge, now Gephardt, that operates as illegal as this. This is a travesty. Now the problem for the Review Journal and everybody else is they've been told, don't go near this case. Because what happened? That money's gone. That money's been dispersed. $1 million has been dispersed. Now what happens when eventually what's going to happen is the Supreme Court is going to say that the district court did not have subject matter jurisdiction over that property in New Hampshire. And none of the money that was sent here was legal.
Well,
None of it.
That's what they need to say. You say
They will eventually, they have to.
Well, no.
It's federal law.
Well, yeah, I agree, but it doesn't mean they have to follow it.
Nevada doesn't have to, but federal law does.
Federal law. I hope so.
Well, it's trespass otherwise.
No, I
No
agree.
state in this country has sovereignty if another state can control property within your state. They
And
don't
I
have
tell you,
sovereignty.
another thing that I think you guys may be able to kind of dig into is how much money that People National Bank has donated to the Attorney General and the senators in the state of New Hampshire.
Oh, well, that's significant. I'll try to dig into it, but it's a
Try to
lot.
dig in because that's why they don't go in. And you know that Aaron, just not too long ago, the bank was sued by a blind lady. Then her money was taken from her by the bank.
Yeah, like 180,000, a bank,
You
a
know,
bank
Customer
officer, I
service manager at one of their branches, People's United Bank, is a despicable bank,
guess.
headquartered in Connecticut.
That's the paperwork right there, the guy's name.
Right, in Connecticut, and one of their branch managers named Jovan Cunningham was charged with a crime because one of his customers at this particular branch was an elderly lady that was blind, so she had a propensity to need help probably in handling her financial affairs. So she relied upon this guy with customer service manager title from People's United Bank, and he stole from her $180,000. That's this bank. That's the bank that Judge Earl and the trustee he appointed and all these lawyers decided to work out a deal with People's United Bank to get them to stop payment on a cashier's check that I have in my possession, to stop payment on it so this lawyer out here, Earl, could steal the money and pay his lawyers. And that's what's going on. And there's residue still here to this day because of the $400,000 reserved by Earl to pay lawyers in case I had the audacity to appeal one of his decisions.
If you had the audacity to want the law to be upheld.
Yeah, well, Earl asked me how he should rule in this case before he made a ruling. By equity or by the law? Because if I rule by the law, there's going to be a lot of people unhappy.
Get to it.
I said, I don't give a crap who's going to be unhappy. Rule by the law.
Law is law, it doesn't matter.
And he
Be
told
unhappy all
me
you want.
I was making a big mistake.
Well, now you know what that means.
Right, well, how am I going to know that a district court judge is telling me, face blank, that he doesn't uphold the law? That's what he's telling me.
Because 8 years of your life are gonna be eaten up because of a judge that doesn't even have a brain between his ears.
So that's the problem with the newspaper of the Review Journal not reporting this, because eventually, this money may have to be returned. And there's several ways that can happen. I can file a RICO case against that bank for participating in this scheme, against the Nevada court also, the Nevada judge, all the lawyers, every single lawyer.
Can I ask you a question? If you have all those resources, why are you waiting? Why don't you do it now?
Because when I jump the gun and I try to do something ahead of time, knowing what's going to happen, everything comes flying back in my face. And I went to the court in New Hampshire over that cashier's check, and they told me that a court in Nevada has the case, and they have ruled that I'm not the trustee, so they can't pay the check to
Why
me.
don't you just go and say, look, there's the cashier check. The court in Nevada don't have the cashier check.
The court of Nevada signed an affidavit stating that they had possession of the cashier's check when they lost it. And that's a fraudulent affidavit signed by a sitting district court judge in Nevada. That is a criminal act. That's bank fraud, punishable 30 years in jail and $1 million fine.
Do you have
And
that
Judge Earl
affidavit?
did it.
Do you have that
Yes.
affidavit?
Yes.
Yeah. Why don't you facilitate that affidavit to Las Vegas Tribune?
You have it. We've published it. You published it.
No.
Yes, you published the order that Earl signed, telling Roitman to sign that
That was
affidavit.
me or that was Cohen before I took over?
It was either Natasha
Oh,
or Alexander. It was probably before you, but it's been published in the paper. And we published Earl's order, you published Earl's order that he signed stating that the cashier's check had been lost, destroyed, or stolen. And that's an out and out lie. And the bank participated in that scheme because they knew who had the check. The check's never been lost, ever. And When Earl was signing the order saying the check's lost, he also signed an order for my arrest because I wouldn't turn in a check to him. So he found me in contempt of court because I wouldn't give him the check.
And you
That's
also have a
lost.
copy of them?
Yes, yes. We have everything. That's the blatant part of this. Everything is so documented. It's all filed at the courthouse. This is all provable. And you have a Judge Gephardt doesn't give a damn about the law, doesn't give a crap about the evidence. Why? Because they've already disposed of $900,000 that in all probability the taxpayers of this fine state of Nevada are going to have their ass on the hook for that money.
Okay. So,
Because what the district court did here was illegal as hell. Even worse than a criminal going out and robbing a bank, because they do it with this black robe under the color of authority. So they have all this authority to do whatever they want, and nobody questions it. And when they break the law to pay their little lawyer friends who turn around and contribute to their campaigns, that's a criminal enterprise. That's the reason for the Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organization Act. That's the reason for RICO. Okay, so a case against the bank and the court, state of Nevada, all these lawyers, the trustee in federal court, and the lawyer back in New Hampshire that participated in the scheme with the bank, all the bank officers, the bank itself, all these people with the bank in a RICO action, and this bank had just had a case filed against them under the RICO Act on a thing that a ski development out of Vermont, that for $500 million, this bank, same bank, People's United Bank, participated in that scheme, and they are now facing 6 counts of a federal racketeering charge.
And you also have the appellate court here. You also have the Supreme Court in New Hampshire, where they're changing wording, must to should. So you got two.
They're protecting the law firm back there.
You got 2 states. You got banks. You got probably over 10 lawyers involved in it.
I have an attorney general in New Hampshire that's telling me, well, they can't do anything because of the ruling from the New Hampshire District Court that said I don't have the authority to cash the check. Why did they say that? Because of Nevada. Because of the scheme.
Right.
So they're all part of this scheme.
Right. As a solid group.
Right. So I think that the state of New Hampshire needs to be included in the RICO action.
Absolutely.
So this is going to really come out well. And what's happening is, when this Gephardt, this despicable idiot, in my opinion, who can't see the nose in front of his face, has no clue where this could go. He has no clue. He thinks, I wear the robe, I can get away with anything. If I get overturned on appeal, oh well, so what? Well, face a RICO action against the taxpayers for treble damages. That check is $1.5 million. Times 3 is $4.5 million. Add in $1 million in legal fees, $5.5 million. Add in punitive damages, which could be up to the federal judge, and that could be anything. And punitive damages are to punish the people that participate in this scheme. And you have deep pockets. You got a bank with $40 billion. What's an apropos punishment for them? That they'll feel. A couple million, they're not going to feel that. How about $1 billion? They might feel that. Their taxpayers are going to, stockholders are going to feel it, and they're going to can that chairman of the board. I'll guarantee you that. He's toast. And he should be toast anyways, because they're in a $500 million RICO action in Vermont. This is a despicable bank. Despicable. They have bank service managers stealing from 88-year-old blind people. Blind people. So 180 grand from a blind woman. Don't you think she might need some of that money?
and there was another case before the blind lady too, with the same bank, right?
This bank has done several things where they have a propensity to pay the wrong people. So in other words, just go into this bank with an envelope full of cash, and they'll pay whoever out of any account. It doesn't matter that you're not on the account. They'll do whatever it takes because one of their bank offices is gonna get paid off. So they'll do whatever. They don't give a crap. They're gonna do whatever. That RICO action, they were paying money to the promoters, the scammers of this particular scheme. They were paying the people that perpetrated that scheme. And
So,
they
okay,
were not
so-
on the account.
So actually, it is not only Nevada who is committing the crime here, it's also New Hampshire.
New Hampshire's participating because this was a New Hampshire trust. They
Yeah,
had a responsibility to protect property that we had paid taxes on, property taxes for 50 years in the state of New Hampshire. And one of their court judges, a probate judge, he works 1 day a week if it's not snowing, and he shows up. He said that a state of Nevada had assumed control of the administration of a New Hampshire trust. Now, all you people out there thinking of trusts, you better think of how you're gonna have your trust assets protected from the judiciary of any state that you're gonna deal with. The trust law in New Hampshire right now is non-existent because New York, Massachusetts, Nevada, anybody can go to New Hampshire and steal your property.
Go to Delaware, I think.
Well, Delaware has a good reputation, but how about the judiciary? They have good trust law, but how about the judiciary? What if someone dies in that court and they appoint Earl or Gephardt to replace him? You got nothing. You got a crook in the seat of that judge, and he's gonna rule any goddamn way he wants to. Now, you may ultimately come out ahead and win your case, but you're out years and years of stress and work and money and legal fees, and you don't have the benefit of a home that we had on Lake Winnipesaukee, when the temperature outside right now is 110. I'm supposed to be on Lake Winnipesaukee. And Judge Earl ripped it away from me and my family that we've owned in the family for 50 years. That guy deserves to be in jail. And you need to order 2 beds up, one for Gephardt and one for Earl.
Yeah.
They're as crooked as crook can be.
Public hanging.
And we as a people, we as the state of Nevada, we have to prevent any word of people like this and judges. We have to get them off the bench immediately. This discipline board, this judiciary discipline committee is worthless. They actually sent me a letter where I put in there the crimes.
oh, no, please, I already write about that so many times. Those people are not in any way capable to do anything
That's
right.
my point. I
No,
wrote in the letter to them a complaint where I stated the laws that were broken, federal laws, banking laws that were broken. They wrote back to me, identified the laws that the complaint was over, and then with a couple blah, blah, blahs, and then down the end, they said, we can only discipline judges that break laws.
So they insinuating that Gephardt is not breaking the law.
No, they're insinuating that they only do something if a judge breaks the law. And they already
But he
Admitted-
already broke the law.
they already admitted that I submitted a complaint identifying the laws that were broken, and they answered by saying, we only discipline if laws have been broken. So go
Like
away.
this.
Yeah, go away and leave us alone. So back to your original point, they don't do nothing. Of course not. Here's a case where they themselves said that's the only time they do something, is when they have to, and they didn't do it in this case. The court, and why didn't they? Because the state of Nevada is in trouble over this case. They have made mistake after mistake, and they have dispersed $1 million of other states' money, and they're going to be held responsible sooner or later.
Right.
And the taxpayers of Nevada are going to take it on the chin.
Right.
This is a bad, bad situation. And the Review Journal won't report it. The Las Vegas Tribune has been reporting it since last August. And the first headline they wrote back last August said, Judge lacks subject matter jurisdiction. And lo and behold, here we are today, and that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
It continues.
And the Supreme Court just weighed in on another case last April, where they ruled that any court in a state is completely without jurisdiction to affect title to property held in another state. That's the law of this land. That is the law of this country. That is the constitution of this country.
But Gephardt said he doesn't care about.
No, he doesn't care about that.
Jurisdiction means nothing to me.
Right. So he can tread on other states' property, steal properties, then turn around and distribute money from that theft.
I still believe, and I still point out to you that if the lawyers will be making their work, if they will be doing their job the way they're supposed to be, and they will argue with the judges and will point out. You don't need to argue with anybody to point out where the law is. It's not anything to argue about. Here, this is the law, read it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to argue.
The problem is Gephardt's the judge. These attorneys have to work under that moron. So if the lawyers point out to Gephardt, say, no, listen to me, boy. I'm telling you what the law is.
Yeah.
You have to uphold the law. That's what you're supposed to do. So talk your way out of that if you want. Now, he'll say, I don't care about jurisdiction. Shut up and get out of my courtroom. Now that attorney has nowhere to go to say, this moron can't eliminate things.
They got other ways to do it. Yes, they
Because
do.
if they go
They can go to
against
the appellate court, they can go to the Supreme
they're
Court.
all idiots. They're all idiots.
Look at the decision we got from the appellate court.
Yeah, they're all idiots.
It's terrible.
You got idiots watching idiots.
They're suffering, trying to protect the state of Nevada because they know this money's been given away. I would have got a completely readable ruling that would have made sense if that money had not been dispersed.
Yeah,
but because the money was dispersed, this appellate ruling is like reading a convoluted friggin' nightmare mess where they refuse to hold people accountable, but then they say things like, well, there's no doubt there was a breach. A breach is a breach is a breach. Okay, no doubt about that. But I don't think it would have mattered in the outcome of the case.
Nothing matters.
How the hell can you say that? They're saying an orange doesn't matter over an apple. You're talking about two different things. The outcome of this case is all dependent upon they have dispersed $1 million in illegal fees that they paid to lawyers. The outcome of the case never mattered. I won the case. Why are we paying losing lawyers? That's the issue. So A has nothing to do with B. And the appellate courts are, oh, we don't think that would have made any difference. They're liars. Of course it would have made a difference. It's everything.
Well, that's why these lawyers tread so lightly around the judges, because the judges get to do whatever they want. The lawyers have to work under these idiots. If they question or tell the judge the truth and make him uphold laws instead of doing whatever the hell he wants because he's a moron, then they'll never win a case again, and they'll be out of business.
They're like me.
Yeah.
You blame me. I'm the one that started on this. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
I'm the victim.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you didn't win any money, and you didn't steal any money. But you're the guy that caused
Not
it all.
a dime.
Yeah. Wanda's sitting over there with her fat
And I
ass
paid
self.
over $100,000 out of my pocket in legal fees, and Wanda hasn't paid one single red cent.
Wanda's made money.
Yeah, she's made money.
She's made money.
Huh.
Costs you money, and
pathetic.
Wanda makes money. And she's
Most
the one
corrupt display of blatant incompetency, but it goes beyond. Gephardt's not just incompetent. He's an evil, stealing bastard who's trying to pay his buddy, Kobiega, John Mitch Kobiega, trying to reward him, and he's not even in this case. He's a
I
lawyer
don't even know who he
that
is.
is an estate lawyer for the lawyer that died. And when Earl reserved $400,000 in case anyone had the audacity to question his ruling, well, the lawyer died. Well, the lawyer that got the estate said, wait a minute, there's $400,000 sitting over here. Why shouldn't I get some of that? So he files legal fees to object to my appeal. And then he objects to an award of the judgment that I've already been decreed. The law of Nevada, Rule 511, that guy should be sanctioned for objecting on a vexatious litigation. He's got no business putting in legal fees against me. Show me the contract that I signed with you. And matter of fact, show me what you're doing for my sister. How are you representing her? You're representing yourself, trying to attack what's her money too, this $400,000 that's been held in reserve. Her lawyer is attacking that money.
That's what it is. He's not representing your sister.
Hell no, over what?
He's not.
There's no case over that
If he was
anymore.
going to represent anybody, he would represent the trust in general. All the people that are the beneficiary of the trust.
And he wouldn't be allowing fees, legal fees to be awarded against the trust, including his.
If Kephart was representing his client, he would jump off a cliff. That would be representing the.
They would do a better job for them than he's doing now.
Exactly.
He's attacking their trust. He's stealing from his clients.
But that's
He's
how.
stealing from his clients.
That's how we ended up in this mess, because we have family members that they're at Gephardt level when it comes to intelligence.
One of them is a thief. My sister's a thief. She has no standing before the court. She was a trustee that was removed because she was stealing money. Okay? So she's, whatever she is. Okay? Now, my youngest son, my sister promised him that he would be rewarded by whatever money she was stealing. He was going to get something. So she bought his participation. Now, he's such an idiot. He doesn't have a clue what's going on. Not a single clue.
Right.
I'm the only one with you that's been protecting this trust from day one. We've gone through hell trying to protect these morons, but they're my morons. I got willed those morons. They're my family, so I'm going to protect them. And that's what my father and mother wanted. So, all right, I'll do it. I'm protecting them. And I'm getting no help from them. I'm getting hindrances, and I'm getting attacked by their lawyers, and now a judge who has me as some kind of an antagonist, and I'm the only one following the law. The only one that's even close to following the law. They are so far on another planet, there's no description you can make on these guys. They need to be rounded up right now, taken off the bench, and put on a bus to Carson City, or wherever the hell the closest jail is.
Yeah.
They're criminals. And I have the law, 18 USC 1344 for one, 1014 for another, 1957 for another. And we got a RICO bank that sent money out here. If that stupid bank hadn't sent any money out here, none of this would be going on. And the state of Nevada wouldn't have had this problem. And we probably would have got an appellate decision that we could understand.
And Kephart wouldn't be so mad because you saved him.
Yeah, but he don't get
He's
it.
mad at you for attempting to save him.
He's going to have to break laws to do what he wants to do. And why is he doing it? Why doesn't he just clean the slate? He said today something about, well, that'll be up to the Supreme Court. Well, he's right. It will be. But it's not yet. And why do I have to go to the Supreme Court?
He said that on Coviega's self about getting his balance due from Sterling, because he's asking for Sterling's money, and he was the one that was supposedly again representing.
Okay, so I heard it. I didn't follow anything Gephardt really was doing, because what he was doing was so despicably out there. I was almost in shock.
Right.
And then he points to me when you're talking to him, saying, "How?" Very easy question for most people to understand. How do you pay my money held in a trust, my aunt's lawyer, in a different trust, where she stole money from a different trust? What does the trust that I'm in have to do with that? I'm not going to relitigate. And if you got a question, look to your right. Ask that guy, that despicable father of yours.
Yeah.
That's caused one of the worst cases to come before my bench ever.
Earl did that.
Yeah. Well, he worked really hard on the case, is what Gephardt said. He worked hard on the case, screwing it up, doing illegal things.
Let's talk about this case, and let's talk about how simple it is. This is This is a 101 case. It's the most simplest case there's ever been.
Basic. Oh,
Okay, someone gets accused of stealing funds. You go to the bank, you get the records, there's the proof, you remove them, you look up what they've stolen, you owe X amount of dollars, figure out what the attorney fees are, you owe X money on attorney fees, case closed.
make the
I could
judgment.
do that. If you give me those records, all right, I'm not talking about time it takes to subpoena the bank and for them to give me the records. But as soon as I get the records, I can come up with that decision in less than 3 minutes and be done with this case. Somehow we have bank fraud, we got multiple states, we got over 100 judges, we've got over 100 lawyers, and they turn this thing into the most difficult, convoluted, goddamn mess I've
Money-making
ever
machine
seen.
for the lawyers.
And it was so simple. It was a 101 basic case. That is scary. Where are we? What? Like this is
We're victims of a theft perpetrated by a corrupt Nevada court, participated in by a corrupt New Hampshire court, or totally incompetent, or wherever the hell they fit in this picture. I mean, we have a multiple of mistakes that were made, but they were made by either incompetency or out and out theft.
if this for this country to exist, if we have a court system like we have, and we have all these leeches of lawyers like Kobiega, we're doomed because nothing means nothing. You saw John, the attorney, whatever his last name is, that works for Burr. He said, well, he's got 43 years of experience in being an attorney, and now trust laws are like
They're
more.
evolving.
They've been evolving. Somehow, writing, black and white writing's been evolving. It's the same wordage, but it keeps changing.
He's wrong about that.
What the heck are you talking about?
Trust law has been around for centuries. Before this country was even here,
Yeah.
trust law has been around. Now, over the 240 years we've been here, trust law has kind of morphed from common law, but all the states have enacted their own trust law, and they've enacted it through statutes. And every state almost has identical statutes with few differences, but some of those differences are significant. And these are states competing between other states, trying to be the most attractive state to be able to house trusts in. Because there's money to be made for the state by having people create trust in their state. So it's a state-controlled entity. That's what it's morphed into. But it's done by statute. Laws are now statutes instead of common law. They're black and white. And this lawyer from Burr is saying that it's evolving. He's wrong. It evolved way back when. For hundreds of years, it's been by statute. And statutes don't change.
And it's simple.
It's very simple. It's one of the most easy laws in the world to understand because it's cut and dry.
If you were to have a trust and any single person under the sun could attack it, there'd be no reason to have a trust.
It's a waste of time.
And then if you were worth over $1,000, nobody would even live here.
Well,
Everybody could be
let
attacked.
me ask you a stupid question, okay?
There's no such thing.
Let me ask you a stupid question. What happened have you ever tried to bring this to the attention of the Treasury Department or even the IRS and see what? I know the IRS collect money, they don't give money. And if there's no money to take, they're not gonna get involved. But maybe somebody over there pay attention to what's happening in the courts, and you have to call the attention of somebody. Maybe the ninth district, what do you call the ninth judicial
The
district?
Ninth Circuit
The ninth circuit.
is the appeal process for any federal cases that have happened in
Of a
US
federal cases.
U.S. courts in Nevada. If you appeal them, you go to the Ninth Circuit.
So that means you have to go to the federal court first,
Right.
which in Nevada, the federal court is also as much of a joke as
Right.
it is the district court, to be honest. With
Well-
all my respect to all those judges, then I happen to meet at one time or another one. It is a joke. So then you have to do, it's a process for the attorneys to make money.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
And all the judges used to be attorneys, so they know all about paying the light bill and paying this bill. So they're not that far removed from over there.
Except Bill Kephart.
Well, no,
He
you're
was
right.
never-
He just
He
got
was never
checked
in practice.
by being a prosecutor.
Yeah, he
One of
was
the
never
worst
in practice.
prosecutors ever.
He was
And how
never
can a
in
guy
practice.
like that become a judge and he knows nothing about civil law? If he does, where did he get it from? He never. Worst judge I've ever seen. And Earl was a doozy. But Earl had an excuse, I guess, at the end of his career. His brain wasn't working right. He had dementia. Gephardt,
Well, let me ask you another question. Can that be used against all these cases? Testified and, or what do you
but
call
here's
it?
the problem. We've already identified it. The law is the law, but nobody's going to uphold the law because the law has such a ramification in this case where the state of Nevada is going to have to pay a chunk of money, maybe $5 or $6 million. That's the problem.
Minimum.
Yeah, you're not going to get a judge in this state to do his job.
Okay, so then you have to go to the Ninth Court of Appeal.
You go on a RICO action against everybody in federal court because of diversity of citizenship. We have lawyers in banks in New Hampshire, Connecticut,
Multiple states.
Vermont, Nevada.
And you can bypass the FBI and all that. You can go straight to the
FBI's
court.
worthless.
The FBI, you're talking criminal. There's been criminal violations here that should be
Well,
investigated.
RICO is criminal, right?
It's under civil too, so it's a
Oh,
civil.
really?
I would file a civil action. If I can get the Department of Justice to file a RICO federal action, and they get all the fines and penalties and everything else, have at it, because they could make millions of dollars on this case. And why? Because of the bank. The bank's worth $40 billion. If the feds investigate the bank,
And the banks are under the federal law.
yes, and they would have to pay for the investigation. So you want to talk about lawyers getting paid? The Department of Justice can say, "Have at it, boys. Go investigate this bank." And now the bank's going to have to disclose all their records. They don't want to disclose nothing. They don't want investigators running around. So they'll say, "Where do we sign to get this thing over with?" But
So
there's going to be
isn't that the way to go?
well,
Well, you-
yeah. Plus, there's going to be some federal crimes. Earl needs to face that. Foreman needs to face
So
that
what's the difference? What did that have to do?
because the feds won't do anything criminally.
Because they're
Because,
protecting
like-
their own.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And if the feds in
Oh,
this
no, that's
state,
a different story.
I know, but if the feds
Not
in this
really.
state do
Hillary
something,
Clinton, yes, it is.
No.
It is a favor to cover another favor to cover.
Yeah.
right.
So
But
that's
in
why
this
Hillary's not
case,
different than us.
Yeah.
you go to the Department of Justice, you go to the FBI, you go to the DA, the Attorney General's office. They are in the state of Nevada, even though they work for the federal government. Somebody in the state of Nevada is telling these people, don't touch this one, because we'll be on the hook for $1 million or that. So the whole thing's fixed. The only way to get it unfixed, I guess, is go to the federal level.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't they just jump and go to the federal level?
Yeah,
Well, we
Forget
have to wait.
about
We
it.
have to wait until these idiots. I wish if I could go back, I would have told Kephart, you know what? Close the case. Give the money to whomever you want to do. Make the legal action. Give the money away. Close it so we can go to federal court. And
No,
get this
you
over
don't
with.
tell them that. You don't tell them that because then we won't close it. You don't tell people what you're gonna do. That's the mistake a lot of people make. You know, all you gotta do is tell Bob, look, Bob, tell them that we agree, we're gonna close this thing, do whatever you want. And they're gonna start wondering, they're gonna die just wondering what's going on.
They have a
Do these
big,
guys have the brain capacity to wonder?
sometimes.
These guys are gonna have to get hit with a nuclear bomb. You're gonna have to
Face.
force these bastards to do what
Just
they have
like
to do.
Wanda, that's why we had to go to court, because you
She's
have
a
to hit her over
dumbass.
the head with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And then
I said,
she
"Did you-
still doesn't get
Did
it.
you learn anything from that? She's like,
Well,
no, no. And then you hit her again. These people can't learn.
Yeah.
You saw Sean come here and acting like an idiot. You told him get out of here. Did he listen?
And
No.
he did it again.
He's
today.
an idiot. He did it again today. He's an idiot. Idiots never mess with an idiot.
What do
They
you
just
do
don't
when
know
you inherit them like I have?
it.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. You did a great job for your old son over here. Your firstborn child, you did a hell of a job. You left me with two morons. A daughter that I have that's like on a fence, doesn't know which side to flip-flop on because she just doesn't want anything.
Fake hippie.
Just a flower child.
So it's
That's
just,
all she is.
what's his name? Sean and Aaron? Is that what
Deanna.
it is?
Deanna. is my
Oh, no,
daughter.
Aaron. No, Aaron.
Aaron, from day one, when he heard about what was going on, was always on the side of right. Because he knows
They
everybody.
have a brain.
Yeah, he knows Wanda, he knows his siblings. He go, what the shit are you people doing? Wake up. They won't wake up.
Never did. No. Okay. Wanda follows or my sister follows the money, because when Wanda was removed, then she came over sucking on our faces, you know, talking about she always agreed with us or whatever. And then as soon as Clark gets removed without cause as trustee, then she flies off again. Now she's sucking on the face of Randall Tolman. So, yeah, she's a fake hippie.
Well, anyways, folks, thanks for going through all that. I think the people of this state need to know what's going on, because this is a despicable display of corruption that's being done here in the District Court of Nevada, and God damn it, we need to stop it.
And I think it is important, if anybody that is listening to this radio show know anything about anything close to what happened in the trust court, and they want to share the experience, or they want to share the knowledge that they took, that they learned, that they obtained during the odyssey in court, we'll be happy to talk to them too.
All we need is the information, because a lot of this stuff has gone on. I don't think that the accumulation of idiots in this case has progressed this thing to where they don't have a way out. It's gonna take a nuclear bomb for them to end this thing, because
And
they've
don't
gone
think-
too far.
And don't think it cannot happen to you, my dear.
No.
If you live in the United States and you have $2 in the bank and you have greedy family, it can happen to you
Yeah.
too.
That's right.
And some lawyer will want the money. And with working with the judges, they're gonna get it.
Wow. Good job, Rolando.